Hello and welcome to Moneylife News and Views. I am Debashis Basu. India went into one of the most severe lockdowns anywhere in the world to deal with COVID. Physical movements were severely constrained, only essential services were open, and many segments of the economy remained shut or severely restricted. As a result, the growth in gross domestic product for April to June quarter turned out to be horrific. The economy contracted by 23.9%, which was worse than the most bearish estimates. The GDP is expected to suffer a further contraction of around 10 to 12% for the period July to September. If this proves to be correct, we would be officially in a recession, since economists define recession as 2 consecutive quarters of contraction. But that is the theory. And then there is the actual data. Cement manufacturer Ambuja Cement reported its results last week. Its consolidated net profit was up 50% over last year. Even assuming that some sales of the severely restricted June quarter got shifted to the September quarter, the results were absolutely stunning. Net profit for the April-September, that is a 6-month period, was more than the same time last year. Cement is a basic commodity, most needed in construction, which was under lockdown. So despite severe restrictions on economic activity, Ambuja Cements recorded a higher volume growth, as did Ultratech Cement, as well as ACC. Ambuja's share price is now at a 2-year high. If someone had told you that this could happen against the backdrop of rapidly rising COVID cases, continued lockdown and economic recession, you would have dismissed him as mad. But the facts have turned out to be different. The story is not limited to cement alone. Other sectors such as steel, paints, packaging, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and software have reported far better results than expected. Some even better than the same period last year. Their stocks have risen to the pre-crash level. Some have hit all-time highs. Some companies have even benefited from the pandemic, either through cost reduction or higher revenues, or both. None of this was expected. Now, this should be a humbling experience for all of us. But this will not deter a variety of experts from confidently forecasting the future every single time we are faced with uncertainty. Look at the predictions even today. No one may have predicted the severity of COVID pandemic, but once it was upon us, aren't there a million predictions about what kind of impact COVID will have on our future? People are predicting confidently that some things have changed forever. The world will never be the same again. Work from home is here to stay. Health and hygiene is going to be a top priority from now on. My question is, how do we know any of this with any confidence? We don't, but we have a natural desire and also enormous confidence in our ability to forecast no matter how many times we are wrong. Exactly the same thing happened after the global financial crisis of 2008. That crisis rocked every country from tiny Iceland to the mighty United States. But miraculously, a global synchronized market rally started exactly in March 2009 against the consensus that no sustainable recovery was possible. Analysts, economists, and fund managers all over the world were in the same highly skeptical camp. Their argument: how can the economy revive so fast? Businesses and consumers are too scared by the crisis, and the fiscal health of many governments is actually anemic. However, the market went on to a relentless rally for 2 years and paused only in mid-2011 when a new crisis came on the horizon. This is when the euro seemed to be disintegrating, supposedly taken down by the pigs, which is Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Spain. Exactly 2 quarters later, by the end of 2011, despite dire predictions of euro going on a free fall and the European Union disintegrating, a new rally started in the US, which lasted for 2.5 years, taking the main market to an all-time high. And the same thing happened all over the world. Every market in the world almost was bullish. After a blip in September 2015, another melt-up began that lasted 3 years. After a big decline in December quarter of 2018, the market roared higher in 2019 until the COVID pandemic struck us in early 2020. The truth is, as new facts emerged through the fog of uncertainty, the market adjusted to them. According to a relatively new theory, markets, economies are complex, emerging, adaptive systems. If you scrutinize these three features, which is adaptive, complex, and emerging, you will know how impossible it is for us to make any predictions. We will never have enough data about the economy because it is too complex and always changing. No wonder we are usually wrong, especially since we bring our own biases to fill in the gaps of information which are glaring, and yet we cannot help but predict. We are born with the desire to make sense of things around us. We seek cause and effect in everything, even about things that are unknowable. Based on that, we want to know what is going to happen. Indeed, the deeper we are in a fog of uncertainty, the more is our inclination to predict, the more is our inclination to see cause and effect. It is because of this prediction addiction, as it's called, that we see fretful discussions everywhere today about the so-called disconnect between the market and the economy, about green shoots, the possibility of double dip. All these terms were also available freely in 2009 when people were as skeptical. Double dip, by the way, was very popular during that period, which meant that the economy will go back again, dip, that is sometime in future. But the term was eventually discredited post the 2009 recovery. People are asking now whether investors should wait for clarity or dip their feet, and endless rubbish of that sort. As the late William Goldman, Oscar-winning writer of super hits like All the President's Men and Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, said about what kind of films become hit, he said, nobody knows anything. Thanks for watching.